Usually it doesn't rain like this unless it's typhoon. But for some reason we get this kind of rain at in June. Now, so Britney Spears was here last night in Taipei. I heard she did one hell of a lip syncing. So, well, I don't know if you're into Britney Spears, but anyway, so today we have our schedule. Today I'll be the first one to talk about summer camp lesson plan design. Okay, I know most of you have done your lesson plan design already. So, well, originally we had this this workshop planned to be in late May, but because of the disagreement with the subjects, so we got delayed until today. But still, I prepared for this. So, just so you know, I have a lot of responsibilities, and one of them was to design summer plan, lesson plan, and other classes. Okay, for Happy Marian, and so I'm going to share my experience. Okay, for the summer camp lesson plan. Okay, so now for the lesson plan design, I guess the first thing, because well, the thing is, in your school you don't really have something that you do every year. Okay, for example, every summer we're doing this. Okay, so you have to come up with your own ideas, own design, and this can be very difficult. So I think choose your theme will be one of the most difficult things for a new teacher to do, because sometimes we have very grand ideas. Maybe you say, I want to build an obstacle, field. Turn the school into an obstacle game. Okay, well, that sounds like a really fun thing to do, but I guess the most difficult thing to achieve here is the resource, because you don't have what it takes to build the obstacle course. Okay, although it might sound very interesting and very challenging, and the kids will love it, of course, but it's not something that you can do. Okay, so I guess choosing your theme will be the first thing that you need to think of is that you're at a school. The advantage you have is that most of the cram schools or most of the other schools, okay, well, they have very limited resources. They don't have enough open grounds. Okay, they might not have like the resources like the sports, like the balls that you have at a school, or the fields, or the gymnasiums, but you have this. So that's something that you should take into account. Okay, so usually when you plan your theme, I would say think of something, okay, and start branching out from that. For example, it can be about sports, okay, or it can be about one particular subject like pirates, okay. There's a lot you can do with pirates, or dinosaurs, okay. Dinosaurs is a subject that you think the kids will outgrow it, but even for elementary students, they love dinosaurs for some reason. Or science, okay? So these are the things that you can start picking, okay? Or you choose one thing. For example, there are many things you can pick about science. Or if you want to, for example, if you want to do space science, there are a lot of experiments, a lot of activities, a lot of stuff that you can combine with your theme, okay? So choosing your theme is very important. Make sure that you don't plan for something that's impossible to reach. Okay. I remember one of the teachers from Happy. He had this idea of he was going to make a domino camp, and he was going to use anything you could find in the classroom to make a domino. So the kids will put everything in the classroom and build a domino. So it was a cool idea, but then they start asking questions. So what exactly are you going to use for dominoes? Because the stuff you see in the classroom, not everything can be used as dominoes. Are you going to use chairs? Are you going to use tables? That might be dangerous, right? The kids might smash their fingers or whatever. So the teacher's like, yeah, just throw out the idea out here. You do the rest. Okay? Well, that's not the proper, summer camp idea of thinking. Okay? You need to start with something more practical. Okay? It can be cool, like pirates or history. I believe you did world culture a year back or something. Okay, that's something that you could do. Something that it's easy for you to prepare. Okay, Now, so this is something that Happy Mary has done before, Dinosaur Island. Starting from 2010, we did several things like Magic Camp, Jungle Camp, okay, or Olympic Sports Camp, or on the go, this is about transportation, okay, or even the pirates, okay. So there are a lot of things that you can do, come up for your summer camp ideas, okay, because I'm going to explain later. Now, the next one is your lesson plan format. For your lesson plan format, the first thing is to, when you do your summer camp lesson plan, the first activity you should do in class is to warm up, okay? And the warm up, of course, involves with ice breaking, because the students are, it's the first time for you to meet with them. So ice breaking activities are very important. Now I might be preaching, I might be, you guys know like a lot of ice breaking activities, but there are a lot of things that you can consider, considering that you have a big school. Okay, so I'll introduce later about some other ice breaking activities. And for example, like icebreakers, I think you should focus on something that's simplification, and participation. Make sure that everybody can do. Everybody will join you. Okay, you don't want the icebreaker activities that only a few people participate. Okay, the worst ice-breaking activity is when a teacher said, "Who wants to do it?" Okay, because it was somebody that you meet, the children, it's the first time you meet them. Only a few of them will raise their hand and participate. So that's not a good way to start. And also interaction. Okay, something that helps you interact with the child. Okay, now. The next one is vocab. Okay, of course you gotta prepare some basic vocab. Make sure it's not too difficult. Okay, it's easy to remember. And this, of course, you get plenty of times because you got scenario classrooms and everything. The next one is activity. Okay, the activity can, there are many things you can do with activities because you have scenario classrooms. Okay, you have a lot of open space. So what you can do is that you can do like arts and crafts. This is very common in summer camps. You guys have been doing that for years. Experiments, okay? Or drama, cooking, sports, okay? You might think, well, that's a lot of things. How can you put all of it together in one theme, for example, okay? So, well, the thing is, when I was planning, a few years back, I was planning a space-themed summer camp, or winter camp. Okay, so in that camp, I had arts and crafts. The arts and crafts was I was building a windmill out of paper, but the paper was the galaxy. So he was showing the kids about the Milky Way, how the Milky Way spins, and I also marked the locations of Earth on the Milky Way. So that while the windmill was spinning, they can tell, oh, this is how our galaxy works. Okay, so that's one science experiment that's related to arts and crafts, and it's not too boring. It's something that is educational and helps the kids understand. And experiments for that space camp, I did experiments like what did I do? I think I did an experiment with rockets. Okay, I taught them how to build a rocket with just one of those plastic bottles, okay, and filled with water, and you just push them and they just fly, okay, and that's one fun experiment, for you to do, okay. And drama, I also planned this little Apollo 15 scenario, okay. So it's a very simple script for them to do, and for them to pretend that they were in space because they had to build the whole entire spacesuit. That's another arts and craft project. So after they built it, they did a little drama, okay, pretending that they're astronauts. And cooking. I also showed them cooking, like what exactly do astronauts eat in space. So for that winter camp, we actually bought space food. Okay, so in that class, we showed them, so this is space food. Basically, it's just, everything tastes bad, okay? That is, I think it was like, it was one of those things that's very, very dry, but when you put it in your mouth, it's very creamy. Tastes like, milk powder. It's not very delicious anyway, but it's something that the kids, will, wow, this is so cool. This is what astronauts eat. Okay. And sports, also did like, when astronauts are in space, they need to do a lot of exercise because if they don't do it when they come back to Earth, their bones will be so, fragile, their muscles will be all gone. Okay. They won't be the same person you remember, so they got to keep exercising in space. So a lot of things you can do with one thing. It depends on how you incorporate your lesson. Okay? So even though your theme might be pirates, you can also incorporate all these things into your lesson plans. So your activities will be you have a lot of things to do. Your summer camp is never boring. Okay? Now, the last one is a worksheet. Okay? A good worksheet is what helps you make your summer camp more educational and more meaningful. Okay? Now, so these are the 4 things when I do my lesson plan. These are the 4 things I take in mind. Okay? I gotta have a very cool warm-up activity, a very nice vocab for the kids to know about the lesson content, but at the same time it's not too difficult. Okay? And activities that's fun to do, and it's different every single day. Okay? And finally, this worksheet for every single class, okay? So the kids can review everything they learned right after they learned it. Now, so what about activities? Because, you have a big campus. So what I thought something would be cool to do was this. If you can have all the kids in the gymnasium and you start spelling out letters, okay? And that's a nice way, okay, to help the kids get to know each other, okay? You might think this is silly or this is not worth doing, but actually physical contact is a great way for the kids to learn to get to know each other. Okay? Well, of course you don't have to find a ground like this in your school to do that. You can do it in your own classroom. It doesn't have to be something this big. For example, when you have a class, you can divide them into 4 or 5 groups. Okay? And each group you say you gotta make a letter for me. Okay? I don't care how you do it. Okay, you gotta bend your body, make sure, I want to see a letter A. Okay, so these 3 kids will have to make sure that they form a letter A. Okay, so that's a nice way for the kids to get to know each other. There are also other ice-breaking activities that, doesn't require a lot of English speaking because on the first day they might be very timid. Okay, so on the first day usually I want them to do a lot of exercising, okay, and just physical exercise and form the bounding between the classmates. So, or M&M tic-tac-toe. That's another great icebreaker activity. You can replace it with Skittles too. Personally, I prefer Skittles. I like them better. But this is a nice way. This you can do with 2 people. So if you have a smaller size, you can do a tic-tac-toe, or you can even make it fun. For example, you can ask them a question. If they got it right, they can pick a Skittle and then put it in their spot. Okay? So that's another way. That's another incentive, to get them to talk to you. Okay? So, or you can do this. Building a marshmallow with toothpicks. Okay? And that's a nice ice-breaking activity. It requires teamwork. And the fun thing is, after you finish it, you can eat them all. Okay? So you don't have any trash. Okay, well, of course you can eat the toothpicks, but the marshmallow will be fun. So there's another way for the kids to cooperate and build something together. Okay, so very good ice-breaking activities. Okay. Now for lesson activities. Now this is something I did for another summer camp at another language institute. Okay, it was a summer camp comprised with cooking, experiments, and arts and crafts. So for cooking, the whole thing was called Genius. Okay, I forgot. I think it was called Genius Kids Camp or something. But anyway, I made sure that there always were genius in every single scene. So genius chef. So they got to do rolled sushi, tom yum, karaoke, fruit salad. Okay, something very simple to do. And for Genius Art, I think, because that was a winter camp. So it was related to the Chinese New Year. Okay, so the arts and crafts were all related to the New Year stuff, like spring paper scroll, dancing dragon. While fireworks, basically we just buy fireworks for the kids to play with. And cool diamond kite, So these are very easy but very fun activities to do. And Genius Lab, we taught them like how to make giant bubbles. Okay, you actually I think it takes a special component, glycerin I think or something, I forgot. It was a special oil that you need that to make the giant bubble. And kaleidoscope, balloon power, or color flower. Every activity actually has a science theme in there. So as you're explaining to the kids, the kids are learning this very simple idea, okay, through the experiments. Now, the last is the worksheet. Okay, so for the worksheet, this is another worksheet I made for the summer camp. This is for winter camp too. Okay, the winter camp, the theme for the winter camp was ancient history. So this is one of the worksheets I made. It was teaching the kids how to write in hieroglyphic alphabet. Okay, so basically, during the course of the lesson, we talked about hieroglyphics. How you write them according to the sounds. Okay, well, it's a complicated language, but anyway, I taught a very basic one. Like, for example, if you're writing your name, like Michael, you don't spell it like M-I-C-H-A-E-L. A-E-L. You don't spell like that. You actually spell it with a sound, like my. So it's M-I, and U, 4 sounds. So it's actually 4 hieroglyphs. Okay, hieroglyphics. So yeah, it was a fun thing to do. This worksheet, so the kids all had fun. Here I taught them how to write the Egyptian cat. The Egyptian called their cats mew. So it was 3 sounds. Mew. So I give them the first hieroglyphics and have to choose the other 2. Okay, or like pot, stuff like that. And then let them write their names. And this was another thing. It was Mayan. Okay, this was the Mayan mathematics. Okay, because their math system was a little bit different. It's bagesimal, not decimal. So it was fun to teach the kids like, they counted by 20, not by 10. Okay, so it was another practice here. See if they can understand the Mayan letters, okay, or Mayan characters. Okay, do a little Mayan math because that's something that they were famous for. So as you can see, creating a very creative or challenging worksheet is something that will enhance your lesson. Okay, so that's my contribution on summer camp lesson plan. Okay. I'm actually 10 minutes earlier, so maybe we can go on with Peggy. Oh no, you guys have any questions for me? Sorry. Regarding summer camp planning or winter camp planning? Any questions at all? We got some gifts here ready. If you ask me a question and I answer, I'll give you this. Flashcards, right? Something that you can use in your classroom, okay? So, anybody wants to try? No questions for you? Yeah?
So, the one icebreaker you showed when they lie down to do a letter or whatever, what do you do if they just not grasping that idea? If it's maybe like grade 1 or 2?
Oh, of course you gotta demonstrate it with teachers. The teachers gotta do it first.
Sure, you do maybe like an A or but if they still can't do it, do you always find they can?
Well, usually they don't have too much trouble with it because what we do is that because we only ask them we ask one team to form a letter. Yeah. That's not like you guys form a word camp. No.
You said like they must make O and then.
Yeah. No. Yeah, just letters. For example, like this team, you make H, O, N, E, home. Okay, so they gotta make it. You don't say, I want a home. Build me a home with your body. Okay. Nah, it's not like that. So. Any other questions from the new teachers? Because summer camp is coming really soon. Just around the corner. You guys have any questions? No? You don't know what to expect yet?
We've been planning this thing for 4 months in our case.
Well, that's true. I mean, for you guys, I guess you guys know what to do already. But do you have any other questions? regarding summer camps? Okay. All right, I guess not. Peggy? Oh, Martin, recycle that. Recycle that. Oh, did they take the... Okay, so yeah,